Good evening. My name is Carolyn Schoenberger, and I'd like to welcome you to the show Immigrant Issues on behalf of the Chicago Legal Clinic. The Chicago Legal Clinic offers low-cost legal services in areas such as family law, housing, immigration, and also dealing with real estate. If you have questions and want legal assistance, please contact the Chicago Legal Clinic at 773-731-1762, 773-731-1762, Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 p.m. And there currently are offices in South Chicago, Pilsen, Austin, downtown, in addition to several free advice clinics in the Daily Center. So again, if you need legal advice, please contact the Chicago Legal Clinic Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 p.m. by calling 773-731-1762. Se habla español, 773-731-1762, 773-731-1762. So I thought tonight would be appropriate to basically give a legal status about what's going on in immigration. I'm not going to cover everything in great depth, but I thought that it was important to talk about where things stand. And this comes on really the news that the president has decided that he wants to abolish the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which basically states that constitutionally, if you're born here, you're a citizen. And it is not an easy thing to change the Constitution. You need quite a number of states that, first of all, have to have their own, that the states have to have their own decision. There has to be some kind of election where the voters decide if they want to have this amendment to cancel the birthright citizenship. And then you need a certain number, I believe it's 2/3, have to approve that. It's very, very hard. An example of a constitutional amendment that failed was the Equal Rights Amendment, basically stating that women have the same rights as men, and that was a very big issue in the 70s, and it failed. It didn't get the prerequisite number of states. Sometimes it didn't even get to a vote of the population. That failed. And I hope that this will fail too. So my remarks basically are talking, we're in really a time when immigrants are under attack. And what is sad about that is that we were founded by immigrants, people coming over from different countries, and we were founded by immigrants, and all of a sudden immigration is bad. And I'm not saying that every immigrant is great, because we know that's not true, but people born here are not always great either. And you just look around to see the great things that immigrants have done for this country, from medicine to teaching. Alexander Hamilton was an immigrant, and he founded our financial system. We have many other people who came here. So I want to basically discuss just a few things that I'm hearing, some things that I'm reading, some things that are coming out that it's not clear how the Immigration Service is going to implement it, but I wanted to just raise that in talking to people. First of all, one of the things that I hear a lot about are people that say, how come, I did it the right way, how come these people don't do it the right way? First of all, I don't know what these people refers to, and doing it the right way means following a very comprehensive system about how to become a lawful permanent resident and eventually a United States citizen. If you have a spouse who is a U.S. citizen, if you are under the age of 21 and have a parent who's a U.S. citizen, there's sometimes if you have a parent, if you have a child and who is a U.S. citizen, the age of 21, a son or a daughter, and you entered with a visa, you can legally become a lawful permanent resident. However, if you have a sister, if you have a child over the age of 21. If you are over the age of 21, it is not immediate. You cannot do so quickly, and I'll talk about some of the related issues. You actually first have to establish that you're eligible through a family member, and then you have to wait in line. And when I mean wait in line, it may be for someone from, let's pick a country, Brazil, it might be to see your spouse, it might be 3 years. If you have a child over the age of 21, it could be 13 years. In some cases, the waits are over 20 years. How would you feel if someone told you you can't see your child for 13 years? And when you say doing it the right way, again, the people want to do it the right way. They don't want to cut corners. They don't want to come in here and be undocumented. But some of the requirements, and it is getting worse by the day. So in addition to the fact that unless you are married to a U.S. citizen and entered with documents, or you have a child who's 21 and is a U.S. citizen, and you entered with documents, chances are you're going to have a very lengthy process and a lengthy wait to do so. Again, depending on who the family member is, who's going to sponsor you, who's going to try to help you get here legally. What a lot of people don't understand, too, is that it's not automatic. You marry a U.S. citizen, I think conventional wisdom is that you become a citizen. And again, that is not the case. You have to look, person who is married to a U.S. citizen, if you enter legally, you still have to establish that you're not likely to become a public charge. These are new rules coming into effect in October. You have to establish there are certain income levels that your spouse has to make in order for it to count. You have to be in good health. You have to not have a criminal record, or if you do have a criminal record, a very minor criminal record. And it costs a lot of money. Just the application fees alone, we're talking about around $1,600. So again, there are a lot of requirements, and each day it gets harder and harder. The other thing that gets harder are the delays. So again, if someone is in this country and is married to a U.S. citizen, entered with a green card, you can file basically what's called a one-stop. The first step is showing eligibility. Second, that you're admissible, that you meet the other requirements. And if you're in this country and you entered with a green card, you can do both steps together. That used to take a few months, now it's taking over a year. The second thing, if you want to become a United States citizen, that used to take a few months, now it's taking over a year. So in addition to the fact that you may have a built-in waiting list that could be 10, 15, 20 years long, even if you're not part of the waiting list, you are married to a U.S. citizen, it still can take a very long time to do this, so the delays are getting worse. If you want to bring someone from another country here, it's called Consular Processing, you still have to start with establishing eligibility. Is this a spouse? You have to prove, again, a legal marriage. If you're married to someone else in another country, that counts. We recognize marriages from other countries. So you have to get a divorce. And then you can apply for that person. Again, you have to show eligibility, and that may take some time. And then the USCIS, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, sends your file to the State Department, and the State Department then runs the rest of, or most of the rest of your case, which again is more documents demonstrating you will not become a public charge. You have to go to 3 different appointments, one a health exam. You have to have a health exam, fingerprint, and then the regular process of a visa interview. Again, there are delays, and what used to be done within a year now is taking a lot longer. Plus the process, again, it is becoming more and more difficult. So when people talk about standing in line, doing it the right way, they really don't understand the system, which I would agree is illogical. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's needlessly bureaucratic, but that's what we have right now. And as I mentioned, the bureaucracy grows every single day. So again, we talk about the fact that there are new requirements, there are delays. One of the delays may be that in the event you have had a court case, you're documented, there's been a case in court, you're married to a U.S. citizen, you want to be able to become a lawful permanent resident. In the past, the government and the courts have basically agreed to terminate the court case. That is no longer the case. Now you have to take voluntary departure, go back to your home country, and through the consulate there, get your green card. And I have a former client who's in the process of doing that. He gave part of his liver to his daughter. There were no other matches. Daughter's a United States citizen and has more than once started rejecting the liver, so probably will need to have another operation. And he had a case in court that was closed but not terminated, and his wife called. He is leaving for Mexico to meet with the consulate, and hopefully everything will go well and he'll be able to come back to his family in the United States. So one of the changes is that in trying to do it the right way, in some cases, it becomes much harder, much longer, and sometimes it's just impossible. Another impact that is going on is a new rule, and I'm going to need some notes here, that you can be denied if you are likely to become a public charge. In August, I believe it was the 14th of August of this year, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services published a new rule concerning you can deny an immigrant, notwithstanding the fact that their spouse, the applying person who applied for them has sufficient funds, or a joint sponsor willing to put themselves on the line for the applicant for 10 years financially. They can still deny you if they think you are likely to become a public charge. So the rule will go into effect on or about October 14th. It will not impact cases that are being filed right now, but any case filed after October 14th will be impacted. So under the current rule, you have to meet a certain 125% of the poverty level, depending on the size of your family. So if you have a family of 3, somewhere around 21,000, and if the person who, your spouse, makes that money and is applying for you, that currently would probably be okay. It may not be okay after October when the new rule goes into effect. There is a new financial admissibility requirement, and the new test is based on the totality of the circumstances. And if an applicant is likely to become a public charge, more likely than not, they can be denied even if they meet all the rest of the requirements. So let's talk a little bit. That means sometime in the future, someone potentially could become a public charge. They could be denied right now. There's a lot of discretion there and involved in it, and it's not clear-cut. We don't really know what is going to happen. However, the consulates have been the family. The Foreign Affairs Manual was changed in January of 2018, and the number of people denied because they're, quote, likely to become a public charge has zoomed up. So we do expect that there will be a lot of people who are going to be denied because of this. So if you receive certain benefits after 14th, and it's in a 12-month period for 12 months out of the 36 months, you can be denied. So if you're living in Section 8 housing, you can be denied. If you receive SSI, basically emergency assistant, food stamps, general assistance, you can be denied. Now, most people are not eligible to get these benefits. Section 8 is more common. But let's assume you get food stamps and you live in Section 8 housing for 1 month. That counts as 2 months out of 12 months. So each benefit each month, and then you're out. So again, you have to plan, and I've been telling clients for months, get health insurance, other things that may help you get off of public aid. If you're receiving benefits, this is the time to think about something. And some people need the benefits. Some people will not live without the benefits, their families will suffer. And this is exactly the impact that we are concerned about. So they have now, the Department of Homeland Security's U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services also published a draft form that has to be filled out by applicants. I don't know if this is going to be the real form, but I thought I would just give you a little bit of a preview. So again, they want to know your name. That's fair enough. Where were you born? What's your nationality? And then they want to know every member of your household, their alien registration number, birth dates, etc. Do they live together? Have they filed a application to become a citizen? They want to know household income. Have you filed taxes? Well, usually that is part of an application process, but they want everyone down there, every household member, have they filed taxes? This is literally a question. Does any of your income from your or your household members' federal tax returns come from an illegal activity or such as proceeds from illegal gambling or illegal drug sales? Yes or no? Well, I don't know very many people who are engaged in illegal activity that would basically let the government know. This is in case it's discovered later that you did something illegal, gambled illegally. They can then strip you of your residency, possibly even citizenship. Does any income from your or your household members' federal tax returns come from public benefits? And again, the version that I had did not list instructions, but if you say yes, then you have to talk about the additional income. Is your household member going to continue to receive this income? What's the amount? Are they going to stop, etc.? Again, every person in your household who receives any kind of benefit, and again, that may include Section 8 housing. And is it an illegal form? Then you have to list your assets and resources. If you're a child, you have to list the assets and resources from your parent or legal guardian or anyone else giving you 50%. Liabilities, you basically have to show if you owe any money. You have to provide your credit history. If you don't have a credit report, you have to get one. Have you ever filed for bankruptcy? They want to know what, when, what type. Is it a personal bankruptcy, a business bankruptcy? Is it a wage earner's bankruptcy? They want that information. Do you have health insurance? And I think this is really quite critical about getting health insurance, because in talking to my clients, what we have found is a lot of my clients, the citizen spouse or parent has access to health insurance, and I say, get it now, or get a letter that as soon as someone becomes a lawful permanent resident, they can get health insurance. Then they ask about public benefits. Any federal, state, local, or tribal assistance for income maintenance, supplemental security income if you have a disability, temporary assistance for needy families, general assistance, SNAP, which used to be called food stamps, Section 8, public housing, Medicaid. They want to know, and of course you have to tell them what exactly were the benefits that you received when if you're going to disenroll, which is what I've been suggesting my clients consider, if they are able to supplement with work insurance, the type and when they plan to disenroll. Again, they want to know all of this information. And then we get to some of the other things that are involved and likely to become a public charge sometime in the future. They want to know, are you an alien worker? So do you have approved? They want to know about education. They want to know field of study. Do you have occupational skills? They want to know about your skills with English. So I recommend that if anyone has English issues, they ought to think about enrolling in Harold Washington College, where I used to be on the faculty. Great ESL program that can lead to a degree and an occupation. Truman College does not charge for English as a second language. So we now have this 19-page document that has to be filed, that will have to be filed again. This is just the draft. And people in the consulates have in fact been denied for some of these reasons. The federal government is also proposing to evict family members who are not documented, even if other family members living in the household are United States citizens. So Politico basically said that in 2016, 1,033 people were denied visas in the consulates based on public charge grounds. Since January 2019, Politico says there have been 12,179 denials. So that's a amazing growth, and of course, we're not even finished with the year. So what is the impact besides more denials? Fewer families who may need the health care, such as, again, someone who needs a child needs a liver transplant. Families are going to be split up or possibly have to leave the U.S. to be together. And going over this 19-page form is going to take time, so the delays are going to be greater. So when people say, do it the right way, waiting in line, they really don't understand the system. So just as the last few words, I'm going to be leaving the Chicago Legal Clinic. I've worked there representing immigrants for 15 years. It's been an honor to represent my wonderful clients. I really do believe in this country and that we have an American dream. I was thrilled to represent people who wanted a better life for their children the same way that my family members wanted a better life for their children. And were forced to, in some cases, forced to, in other cases, they left family members, they left their language, they left their culture, and they came to the New World, again, seeking a better life for their kids. And the demonization that is going on is unconscionable. The fact that places are abandoning immigrants is a betrayal of our country that was founded. So again, I want to thank you for watching this show. Over years, I've had a lot of interesting people come on the show. Personally, I'm going to be working with my mom and running a small family foundation, so I'm not done yet. But in any case, please do not hesitate to contact the Chicago Legal Clinic, 773-731-762. Again, I am inspired by my clients, thrilled and honored to have taught their children, and I hope that this too will pass. May God hear our prayers. Thank you.